Everybody ready to roll? Dan? Okay.
Yeah, Chair Friedman, we're just waiting for our city attorney as well. So let me just reach out, make sure.
Thank you very much.
Just let us know when we're streaming to YouTube.
We are streaming on YouTube.
Okay, if everyone's ready, let's call the meeting to order. Could we do a roll call, please?
All right. Board Member Friedman,
Present.
Board Member Dennis Ip.
Denise.
Denise,
Oh, sorry.
that's fine.
First
Present.
time here.
Yes, you missing from there.
Messing that up. Okay. Board Member Douglas,
Present.
Board Member Painter. Board Member Alexander,
Present.
Board Member Deering.
Okay. So we have a quorum. If everyone would rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Denise, would you lead us? Thank you, folks. First of all, welcome to this evening's Board of Adjustment meeting. And could I have a motion from the board to approve the agenda, please? Thank you. A second, please. Thank you. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. And a motion to approve the minutes of the January 7th, 2025 site visit.
Make a motion.
Sure. Okay,
Motion to approve.
let's have discussion.
There was a couple of things missing, I believe, like there's no date, I believe, no identification of what meeting it was, these are the ones I got, everything on there. Then under new business, I think it says site visit, oh, sit visit, when it should have been site visit, I believe. I think that's all.
Okay, with those corrections into your motion, could I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye, thank you. And likewise, a motion to approve the January 7th, 2025 Board of Adjustment meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Dan. Second? Thank you, gentlemen. All those in favor? Oh, discussion first? Lucy.
I think again, there was no identification of which meeting minutes it was for. It said under approval of agenda, it said approved by a vote of 5-0, but I think only 4 members were present. So I thought that's how I looked at it.
Mr. Chair, those are my errors. I'll have to correct them. Thank you for pointing those out so that we can get those done.
Thank you.
The only other thing was, there's no mention of who made motion and who,
Elaine.
I was just gonna say that I think, member Ip stepped out after we called quorum, so I think that so I think we were 5.
That's right.
4.
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay. Very well. So, approvals of findings of fact and conclusions of law for case 2022-6149. I didn't see those in the packet. Did I just miss that?
Mr. Chair, we have to postpone those until the next meeting.
Okay,
Just didn't have enough time to get those done.
all right. Okay, so that's duly noted.
Chair.
Yes.
It might be going back, under new business for, case 2022-6149-5318 Camino de los Marquez Zumis. Said, all 4 members voted for it, but I believe I voted no.
That's correct.
Sorry, I didn't get that earlier.
No, quite all right. Okay. Can we just do the old business after the new business? Or is there any, let's do, okay, any old business? Yes, pardon? Okay, so let's.
We didn't-
I thought that your motion incorporated your comments, but
Just didn't-
you mentioned you had your comments to to that after we voted on the minutes, so let's revote.
Okay, I'll make
That's
a
fine.
motion to approve them as amended.
Second, do we, second, okay, all those in favor? Aye, thank you very much. Okay, old business.
There are none.
Okay, anyone have any old business? And let's go on to new business case number 2024-9316-2247 Camino Carlos Rey. Grace Community Church. Welcome, folks who are here. Could we have first staff report from Claudia? Claudia, welcome.
Evening, members, board members. I just wanted to introduce myself. I recently relocated here to Santa Fe with my family, and we've relocated here at the end of last year, and I've been a senior planner with the city since October. So we moved here from Southern California. And I'm a licensed landscape architect in California. I've been a landscape architect for about over 2 decades. The first decade was working with the SWA group in Sausalito and Laguna Beach. And then I worked with a landscape architect in Long Beach and then again in Laguna Beach, mostly working for celebrity clients.
Thank you. Well, welcome to Santa Fe and thank you for joining the city.
Thank you, Chair Friedman.
Michael and IT, can we get the presentation projected onto the screen? Thank you.
This is case number 2024-9316, 2247 Camino Carlos Rey, the Grace Community Church, special use permit. The agent is Plan A Architecture. The applicant is Grace Community Church, case planner Claudia Kath. So I thought it might be helpful to just review what a special use permit is in Chapter 14. Special use permits are intended to allow flexibility in providing for, regulating, or preventing specified uses within various districts as provided in Table 14.6.1-1. So they are compatible with existing or desired land use patterns. Special use permit approval is required for certain uses so that potential detrimental effects may be reduced or avoided, and conflicts in land use may be prevented. Special use permits are necessary because of the wide variety of uses that are allowed with zone districts and because of the variety of existing sites and uses found in the community. So the location of Grace Community Church is a legal lot of record. It's 1.5 acres in size, zoned R5, and situated within the Suburban Archaeological Review District. This site is lot number 7 of the Los Cedros subdivision and is approximately 1/4 of a mile south of Siringo Road. So I just want to get the pointer up. Here it goes. Laser pointer. So here is Siringo Road. Here's the church site. Here's a closer view of the church site. The church was constructed in the 1970s and added onto during the 1980s. It is a legal non-conforming structure. The La Villa condominiums are located to the north of the site, which is here, and single-family residences are to the south and the west. This is a aerial photo of the existing site conditions, where you have a wall to the north and a wall to the east, fence to the south, and then Camino Carlos Rey to the west. The asphalt is basically around the front of the church. There's gravel in the back, and there's a fenced-in playground behind the existing church. And then this is open dirt back here, and there's an access point to Los Cedros Lane. So in the proposed site plan, the applicant is seeking to build a new 5,800 square foot, single story, 24-foot high structure, which is right here. And it is adjacent to the existing 5,500 square foot church edifice. And the purpose of the new building is to hold special functions such as weddings, meetings, memorial services, baby showers. The new building will be located, as I said, right behind the existing church with a courtyard between the two. Then the new building will be used by the church and community primarily on weekends. The building hours of operation will primarily be about 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. The applicant must comply with Municipal Code 10-2.5 for zone district noise levels. So this is view of the parking. The applicant is proposing a total of 73 new parking spaces. 72 are required. There's a chart in the staff report like this that shows the breakdown of the parking. The new parking will include 6 accessible spaces, one of which will be for a van. There is a 1 space per 4 seats required for the existing church and the proposed assembly building. Then there will be 1 location for bicycle parking. According to the code, there are 10 bicycle spaces required. The applicant is proposing 2 ribbon bike racks that each hold 7 bicycles for a total of 14 proposed bicycle parking spaces. And the racks are the RB05 ribbon rack, which complies with Chapter 14, Appendix D. So for traffic, the applicant is actually changing the traffic flow pattern. Right now, cars enter at the southernmost entrance, but in the new scheme, the cars will be entering at the north entrance. And roughly this will be the flow of traffic, and cars will be exiting at the southernmost exit. There will be a gate here and a gate here that will close after 10 p.m. For emergency access, there will be a keypad, a Knox box, and an Opticom device. There's an existing bus stop right here. So the applicant is constructing a new sidewalk that will link along Camino Carlos Rey. And there will be ADA access from the sidewalk that'll lead to the existing front doors of the church. And then there will also be ADA access all the way around the church. So these are the proposed utilities. Basically, the applicant is extending existing utilities to the site. You can see with the dashed blue and orange lines, those are the existing water line and sanitary sewer in Camino Carlos Rey. So then like the yellow is sewer, and it's an 4-inch line that will be extended to the new building. The blue is 8-inch water lines. There's a separate meter for the irrigation that will extend to the new building. And then trash receptacles will be stored in the new garage structure and just wheeled out to the curb and picked up with the regular trash in the neighborhood. And there's 1 existing fire hydrant here across the street on Camino Carlos Rey. So the existing church is not sprinklered, but it is within 400 feet of the fire hydrant, which is acceptable to the fire marshal. And then the new structure will be sprinklered. The landscape occupies approximately 20% of the site. And there are water harvesting designs incorporated into the site. There's a retention area here on the north and also one on the south. And then the back portion of the parking lot is permeable paving. So the applicant has selected low to medium water use trees and shrubs to be planted at the perimeter of the site and in the retention ponds and in the parking lot islands to reduce heat, dust, glare, and mitigate views of cars on the site, which complies with Chapter 14. The applicant complies with quantity of 10 square feet of landscape to be provided per parking space. The traffic island to the east is here, is at least 6 feet wide and has over 90 square feet of permeable surface without a curb, and there are less than 20 vehicles parked in a row. And then lastly, the existing church is constructed in the Santa Fe style, as will be the proposed community building. The new building will align with the surrounding residential neighborhood, featuring a single story that complies with the 24-foot height limit. The applicant's design positions the taller main space centrally with lower massing around the perimeter to match the scale of nearby homes. Natural stone cladding will enhance the lower massing, while the new building creates an enclosed courtyard with the existing church incorporating the playground. So you can see from the structures, the white, from the sections, the white is the existing church. So this is looking at the north elevation. And here's the south elevation, the existing church, the garage, the new proposed building. You can see where it steps down. And also here you can see the stone cladding. And on this section, this is looking east, as if you're in the courtyard, looking at the new building. And this is as if you're looking west, if you're in the parking lot, looking back at the new building. And then these two are sections through the building where this is the existing church and this is the proposed building. This is the courtyard here. And then this is the section the other way through the new building, where this would be the north side and this would be the south side. And then these are several existing site photos. This is the front of the church. This is looking south along the side of the church. It's looking west along the south side of the church. And looking east along the south side of the church. This is looking at the easement to Los Cedros Lane. This is a closer view of it. And then this is looking at the condominiums to the north, and this is the fence that goes around the playground. And this is looking west towards Camino Carlos Rey. This is the north edge of the parking lot. And this is a view down Camino Carlos Rey. And these are more views. This shows the bus stop here, and there is a hydrant, which is located over here. And then this is the view across this Camino Carlos Rey from the church. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. Are there any questions for Claudia at this point? Be kind, it's our first meeting.
This is probably an easy one. See on the pictures that they've abandoned the Cedros Lane exit, is that correct?
No, it's still there and neighbors can still use it. So they will be able to enter in through the parking lot from Camino Carlos Rey. And they will even have access gate code to be able to go in after hours, and they can still use the easement.
And the easement is for the neighbors, or what? I'm not understanding. it looked like it was just a way to get off of the back of the lot, and it looked like it was enclosed in the picture.
I'd like to direct that question to the applicant.
Okay, we can wait until they
Let's wait
present
till
it.
they, yeah,
That's
till they
fine. Thank
present.
you.
There was one thing I want to add, one condition, that's for outdoor lighting. We would like to ask the applicant to be sure to shield, any outdoor lights so that there's no nuisance lighting affecting the nearby residents.
Thank you very much. I assume the applicant is present. Whoever's going to be speaking on behalf of the applicant, if you could stand and give your name and address and be sworn in.
State your name and address for the record.
Read 535 Sirius Road.
Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the testimony you have in reference to this item shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, and do so under the penalties of perjury? The applicant's been sworn.
Well, thank you, board members. Um, I'm just going to go through a lot of the same things Claudia went through, but try and get a little bit more in detail of the bill. So we had a question on the drive-through, which is kind of this corner of this site, goes all the way back here. I don't know if you can see the tire track. This is for there's power lines that run. There's power lines that run along this back wall and then down this alleyway, and the alley is really a P&M access easement. So they can drive their vehicles through here and do maintenance on the poles or the lines that are down there. So that's what that alley's for. So obviously Carlos Ray right here, north is up like a Ciceringo down to Rodeo and Zia Road. So our new building is going right in here, as Claudia showed you. And the vehicular access still has the two existing curb cuts. We're going to develop that streetscape a little bit more. Right now, it's just asphalt all the way up to the curb from property line to property line. So we'll put in an accessible concrete sidewalk with curb ramps and tactile markings for any change of grade that we have there. The existing parking, there's handicap parking there now in the front. That'll have to move because everything's getting kind of shifted once that sidewalk gets in. There's the front of the church. This is where that parking was on the bus stop. You can see right there. Just as a marker, our new building will probably be about this height on that cross there. The peak of the new structure, at 24 feet. There's a few storage sheds in the back in the playground fenced area. Those are going to be removed so we can build a more permanent storage rooms for the view along the wall separating the apartments from our lot. This is that grassy area. Back. Looking the other side, it's on the other side. This light pole, it was there to light the parking lot. Our new lighting will be a lot lower. I think it's only 18 feet. This probably it's close to 40. Existing site plan. These are the sheds that are being removed. And so in that same line, we're going to do our connection to the new building. So this is that storage. Those are the storage rooms. This is a covered connection from the existing church to the new building. The floor plan of that. As there's an existing kitchen set up in the old church, in the existing church building. And they'll be able to, set up for any catering that needs to be done in the new building by coming out these double doors to the new building. So it'll all be covered. We're going to move the playground area in the new courtyard, kind of exactly where it was before, but make it a little bit more enclosed with the structures rather than the wood fence. Handicap parking is on this side of the new building with the main entrance facing the east. The existing church has their handicap parking north. So for the roof, we were proposing to do a shallow pitch metal roof. And one of the reasons is a lot of the houses that are to the south of this property, that whole block there, all have pitched roofs. Some are asphalt, but a lot of them are metal. So we're kind of using that as a key to kind of tie into the. And then again, as Claudia mentioned, higher portion, kind of put it right in the middle of the site, so it's not too close to any of the property lines, and then had a lower mass, kind of wrap it, bring it down, bring the scale down. Elevations, this through the courtyard. There's a large window as you walk into the new building and go into the large media events room. There'll be a big window in the center looking out into the courtyard. This is how you would approach it from the parking lot. This is the doors inside. The lower mass has some Bible study rooms, some offices, and the restrooms. They're all in the lower portion. Existing church. This is our connection with the storage rooms. There's some gates, like a nice iron gate into the courtyard, and then the lower portion of our new building, stone base. The other side, this is another thing we kind of took clues off of the existing church where they had kind of the split roof, clear story on facing south. So we wanted to bring light in from above. That's why we kind of split, have the main room a little bit higher so that we can get some clear story and some light. So the event space is the main two-story space. Again, the entry is through the lower volume out to the courtyard, and then sprinkler plan just to show that it's sprinkled. And landscaping. So, with it being a lot of it parking, because we had to get a certain amount of cars there, we tried to take advantage of any break that we could make in the parking lot to put some vegetation. We've got some retention areas for drainage. The site runs from the back to the street, just a slight slope down. So we're going to have areas to capture some of the water before it flows right out to this. That's it. Yeah. Questions?
Any questions? Yep, Pauline.
Sorry, I just want to clarify that. So the opening at the back on Cedros Lane is specifically for emergency access only?
there's a,
Well, but utilities, it's not like, here's what I'm envisioning. You're getting an event space, you're going to have a wedding on a Saturday night and the wedding is over and everybody leaves. And they get kind of backed up in the parking lot and they start saying, oh, this is a good way to leave. I'm just wondering if that's going to.
yeah, I don't see that happening. It's really, it's narrow and so much easier just to go back out to the main road rather than go on that. Some of the smaller residential roads, it takes a while to connect back up to Carlos Road. I don't think.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Yes.
May, follow up on that. Is there a gate on your property for that easement, I guess, whatever it is out there?
Not at the back. What the church has is some gates just to block off the back area, because as you can see by this photo, people were driving back there and driving around a little bit. So to prevent that from happening, the neighbors in this back area had some suspicious activity going on, so they put a gate on either side of the church. And that's what we're going to maintain, but it'll be automated system.
Okay, there was something in the this narrative on the site here that said neighbors were concerned about people getting into the back, so you're putting those two gates up, but there's not going to be a gate on the backside for people to, I mean, teenage kids find a little narrow path to go into, and all of a sudden they're in there.
There isn't one now, so it's not something that we looked at. I mean, that's beyond this point. I mean, that's the only place we can put it is like right here.
Is any of that back area is going to be fenced in
This,
as part of the construct? There's a fence.
so this is a block, concrete wall. This is a concrete wall, and this is
Okay.
a fence. So it's fenced all the way in except for that gap.
Okay,
at the end.
go ahead.
Question. Don't mind. I think I read in there something to the fact that the new area is going to be used for wedding receptions and extracurricular activity type things. But when I looked at the diagram, and I think you pointed them out, there are rooms that say Bible study on them. I assume that's not Friday, Saturday night stuff. That's Sunday during the day. We're going to use it during the day for Bible studies. I assume.
Yeah,
Not just for receptions and all
no,
that. It's-
no. That's correct.
Okay, I just wanted to be clear on it.
There's also offices for,
Yeah,
some of
there's
the time.
offices and other stuff too. I was kind of a little confused at first, because I thought it was going to be just like a big open hall
right,
that people could have stuff in, but it's not really just an open hall. You've got half a dozen or four. or
right.
five.
Restrooms and offices and
Okay, just wanted to be clear on it. I didn't see any new landscaping in front other than in the planters right up next to the church itself. And there was something in there that talked about all the I don't know, asphalt or whatever in front of the church was going to be removed so that it can be made a smooth surface or something like that. I guess to accommodate ADA requirements.
I'm gonna just yell back to a photo of that one. I mean, it's a little rough in areas, so it needs to be repaired, so it's smooth so people can access it from the sidewalk up to the new, to the existing courtyard in front.
Okay, but that whole area that we're looking at right there, that asphalt's going to be removed and something else is going to go in there that's going to be smoother as a new asphalt.
It's new asphalt.
Is there any reason you're not looking at doing landscaping in front of the church? Because I mean, like you go by there today, there's nothing, literally.
It's mostly for access for fire department emergency vehicles.
I'm sorry.
It's mostly for access for emergency vehicles so that they can get closer to the building, also to drop guests off who are going into the existing church.
It won't be any parking. It will just be a drive-through unless an emergency vehicle comes and parks.
Correct. It's only about 20 people.
And you hadn't You haven't thought of any landscaping in front of it that like street trees? Somewhere there was something about mention of street trees. I think the only ones I saw were, I think, on the corner by both of the entrances. I believe you're looking at putting some trees in there. But nothing literally kind of in the middle of the site that would,
Right, so the only trees are on the edges.
Yeah.
Not in the front.
nothing in front. Okay. Well, I think it would have been nice to have had some trees in front. I like street trees. Excuse me, while I read through my notes here, it should be, oh yeah, it does say in here somewhere, where it says, item A, it says adjacent properties. It says Camino Carlos Rey is a primary source of ingress and egress along the eastern edge of the property. I think it should be western edge. Just throw that in there. Oh, yeah, on that back corner again, as I'm just reading through my notes here.
Mhm.
Is there a house that has a driveway that accesses off of your parking lot?
Yes, there's a driveway right where these numbers are.
So is there, you have an easement with those people?
That's being worked on. Right.
And if so, will they have access to the keypad or something so they can come and go? Cause, okay, I see a big nod, yes, so I'm 2 minutes, yes. Okay.
So those gates are right here and here again.
Oh yeah, I know where the gates are. I was a little kind of concerned about having an access to a private lot coming through another lot, which kind of weird. But if there's an easement, I guess we're cool. Okay. One thing it said was, you have a dumpster now, the dumpster is going away and you're just gonna go to the regular weekly trash pick. What happens if you have two, wedding receptions on the same weekend or something? I mean, I've got a trash receptacle and I can't imagine having 200 people's garbage from a wedding reception going into that, not filling it up. And if you have two of those or something else going on over the weekend, I'm just amazed that one of those receptacles is going to do the job for you.
No, we'll have more than one receptacle.
How do you get another one?
Well, it's a large lot and since it's zoned to R5, should be able to get at least
Really?
5.
Okay, I always thought they said it's like 1 to a lot or something. Maybe it's just if
It
you're,
might be a residential thing, but they did look at it, the refuse department. And on the other hand, does it make sense to have, a big truck coming in to pick up dumpster that's hardly filled except for maybe 2 weekends a year? I mean, that's how the other times that if there's too much to fit in the trash cans, he's chuck it out to the dump rather than having the truck coming in and moving the dumpster once a week, that's loud in a neighborhood. So
okay, my concern is that obviously, the dumpster or the trash can gets full, wind's blowing and you got stuff all over the place and
Sure.
the lid's off it because you can't close it. And
sure.
so we want to be careful that's not going to be the case. Said the parking in front's going to be removed. That's good. Excuse me. Oh, the detention pond, the retention ponds. You've got one on either side. I noticed the one on the north side is about a foot of capacity, and I don't recall how many square feet or gallons, whatever. I guess my concern was when they overflow, it looked like they'd go out to Carlos Rey. And will they just dump over the sidewalk into Carlos Rey, or are you gonna put them into the storm drain, or? Cause at some point, on a good rain, I mean, that's not gonna hold a lot of water in there.
I mean, the engineer did calc it so that it was big enough to hold but if there's a huge event, it would have to go into the storm drain.
Is that how, you have to design them for that to drop into the storm drain? You either have to have them drop inlet or something there to.
Yeah, it was engineered and we do have the simple drawings. I didn't
Okay,
download them.
the overflow will go into the storm drain. Okay. I think that's all I have. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant?
I did have one question. So the entry and exit points were shifted. They were previously you entered to the south and exited.
Correct.
So why was that? It just seems more natural to be on the right. So there's a reason.
It's because we wanted to have a drop-off area here to get into the courtyard. It was kind of a nice entrance. And also if you were to come all the way around and have the passenger side on the drop-off side. And doing it the other way, they're always in the parking lot.
Okay, just maybe something to consider in terms of extra signage, just to make, especially initially, because people are going to.
Yeah, we'll have the big arrow painted on the asphalt.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Just curious, the size difference between the existing playground and the proposed new playground? Have you looked at this difference in square feet?
It's smaller in square footage, but the same amount of equipment that they have now. So it's just now we've kind of created some benches around it and made it a little more contained to it, but it's the same amount.
Good question.
Yes. This is actually for staff of, and, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this, but, is the new building considered an accessory structure? I mean, you have the primary structure, which is the existing church. So you add another structure, isn't that typically considered an accessory structure?
Mr. Chair, Board Member Painter. So my understanding is the building is going to be added to the existing building. Is that true? Or is it a separate building?
It's a separate building,
Like-
but it's connected to the existing.
With a
meaning
breezeway?
It can
not-
stand, yeah, by a breezeway.
So I would consider it an additional use to the church, but still under one structure as part of the church.
Okay, so it's, even though it's not an enclosed breezeway, just a covered walkway, you would include?
Well, if it's going to be attached to the original church and access to and from both sides, then in my mind, it looks like it's more of an addition to the existing church, adding another use compatible with the existing church. So it's an accessory use to the primary church, but from what I'm seeing, it's just an addition to the existing church. Expansion of,
Existing.
correct.
Any other questions? Yes.
Staff, Claudia, you made mention that there was concern around the lighting being nuisance. Can you speak specifically to that? I didn't see it in the staff report as wanting a requested change.
Sorry, what being a nuisance?
You made a comment about wanting to make sure that the applicant's lighting wasn't affecting neighbors.
Yeah, we wanted to add it as a condition of approval, right?
So I guess the question is like, is there a concern that you have in the proposed in the applicant's proposal that leads you to believe it will be?
No, we're still working with the applicant on finalizing the photometric plan, but just in general for any commercial site, we want to be sure that there's an excessive nuisance light going into the residential neighborhoods.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So that's also part of the our light section of chapter 14. So it not only controls the light that emanates off the property, but it also conditions that nuisance glare should also be prohibited. So I don't know if you've ever had your neighbor and you have a light coming into your bedroom and the curtains are about an inch away from the wall and your whole room is still lit up because a neighbor light is on. That is nuisance glare. So for these non-residential uses, we're trying to control that nuisance glare against those neighboring properties so that they can still maintain a little bit more control over their sleep environment.
Makes sense. Other questions?
I do think that was covered in approval, condition of approval number 11. We're going to continue to look at that.
I think, like, I think Claudia asked us to add a condition that basically said that the applicant would shield the outdoor lights from the neighboring properties to eliminate any nuisance from the outdoor lighting. To be more specific, so I think if we do the approval, that whoever's making that motion should add that as a condition. Yes, Member Painter,
I think this is the last.
are you sure?
I'm not sure. Is there a separate water line for the sprinkler system? And if not, isn't that a requirement, or am I mistaken on that?
Let me see if I can.
Chair Friedman and Board Member Painter, I believe in Claudia's presentation, and you're correct, it is required, a certain scale of landscaping requires a separate meter, and so it will be metered separately for landscaping.
Thinking more, I'm sorry, the indoor sprinkler,
Oh, for like fire protection and stuff, I'm sorry.
separate line, just in case there's a problem for other water.
Yeah, again, this is just showing it going out, and then the civil drawing picks it up, the civil drawing that I don't have, but I know it comes in and there's a hot box and the valves and all that out in this section. And then it can connect. There was enough pressure in the water line in the street that you don't need the storage tank or anything like that. So there is a dedicated line for the sprinkler.
Sounds good. Any other questions for the applicant? Okay, being that this is a public hearing, are there any members of the public who wish to speak either in favor or against the application? If you want to speak, if you could stand and be sworn in, give your name and address.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Ralph Nava, 303 Callejon Hermosa.
Do you solemnly declare and affirm that the testimony you have in reference to this item shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, and do so under the penalties of perjury?
Do.
The applicant's been sworn.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Nada.
I'm the person, if you notice, well, can't see the picture right now, but I'm the garage and the driveway on the backside. That's my property. I've been neighbors with the church for almost 40 years. And one of the attractions behind that house was there was a road that came back to the backside of the property, because my neighbor had been using that. I don't know for how long, but it clearly has been used as a road for a long, long time. And that was one of the reasons why I really liked it, because I wanted to build a garage in the back, which I later did. And it's worked out great. I'm not saying that I am opposed to this project, because I am not. They've been awesome neighbors for a long, long time. They've been very respectful, and I'm sure that what they're planning to do is going to benefit our community. So please don't think that I am in any way, shape, or form opposed to this plan. I have been in communications with them. We've been working on an agreement. But I do have one question, because according to my plat, the easement, the utility easement runs all along the south wall. It doesn't stop at the corner. It doesn't make an L. It continues down, and it goes through the area where the parking is and where that overflow area is. At least that's, well, I don't have a map that goes all the way down, but my plat shows that the easement just continues along the south side. That's just a question that I have. I just was noticing it as they were doing their presentation. I am concerned about noise, but I understand they're going to stop at 10 o'clock. So I don't think that would be an issue. Again, they have never, ever, we've never had any problems at all with them. My main concern right now is just that I have access during the construction. I don't want them to close me out so that I can't get in and out of my property.
Sure. Just so you know, common law is if there's an access easement, whether it's granted on a plat, you should take a look at a recorded plat to see actually how far the easement extends. But no one can actually block an easement. No one has the right to park in it or block it or put construction vehicles in it. City doesn't get involved in those issues, so you know, just so you know, but that's the common law right that you have.
Anyway, those are my only comments or just observations. And again, I am not opposed to this project. I hope it goes through and I hope it's a great success. Church seems to be growing, and anytime people can spread the word of God, praise God. That's all I can say.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I just wanted to ask you a question because given the way your property is oriented, so the way we looked at it on the screen, you come out of the back of your property. Do you have a tendency to go to the left through the church parking lot, or do you go the other way through the alley?
Can you put that?
Yeah, so I can see it right here.
If you look at this structure, on the lower right-hand corner, you see,
The orange roof.
yeah, the two orange roofs.
Uh-huh.
One is the house and the other is the garage. And you can see the driveway that comes off of the garage that goes into that road that goes back through there, that easement. Anyway, when they are having church services, I come out and then I go through the back of the church and come out on the north side. But when it's locked, I come out on the south side because I don't have access to open the gates. That's the only way I can get out. So,
Okay, so you use both directions, basically. So your concern is that you basically
well,
want
if
to
there's
make sure
people coming in on the south side, I don't want to run head on into them. I'll go around the church. But if there's nobody there, I'll just go out the south side.
That's great. You answered my question. So you're basically going in either direction depending on the time of day and what's going on at the church. Okay, thank you very much.
Is that just dirt? That is, Mr. Not, is that just a dirt kind of driveway?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very good. And I just so you know, just see if you can get a recorded plat that may show what that easement defines that to your benefit as well as to the church to know. Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public who wish to speak either for or against? Okay, thank you. I'm going to close the public portion of this meeting. Any other questions from the board?
I did just want
Yes,
to
go ahead.
clarify, it doesn't actually say that it's an access
No.
utility.
Exactly. And I'm not professing to give legal advice at all. It's just, you know, if there may be an access easement, there may not. I'll leave it to you folks to determine that. Okay, what's the pleasure of the board? Yes, Colleen.
I move that we approve the special use permit subject to the conditions of approval and technical corrections recommended by staff listed on attachments A and B, including the nuisance lighting shields added to the conditions and technical corrections.
Thank you. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have just one thing I want to
Yes.
say. I want to thank Mr. Escabel for joining us again because now we can talk about churches every month again.
It has nothing to do with Dan. All right, all those in favor of that motion? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, folks. All the best to you with your future project, and I hope It's a wonderful benefit to the members of the community. Okay, I'm always happy to have Dan here at this meeting. I second that. You can never leave.
Just a point of reference for the balance of the board. There was a point in time where every board meeting was a special use permit for a church. So the board saw
Yeah.
nothing but churches for almost a year.
Yeah. Yeah. And you folks feel free to go. You don't have to stick around here. Just if you're going to leave or talk, just talk in the hallway, not in here.
Funeral homes as well.
Yep. Folks, if you're gonna carry on the discussion, can you please leave the chambers? Please leave the chambers if you're gonna have a discussion. Should have used my gavel. I don't like to. It's so heavy-handed. All right. So any staff communications?
Chair Friedman, may I make a point of inquiry?
Yes.
In approving the January 7th minutes for the site visit, I did not get a second after the discussion was had for revisions.
I think that member Alexander seconded that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If I may speak, if you want a technical, once you start discussion, the motion is automatically seconded by Robert's rules.
Bingo.
No, I thought I was bringing my point of inquiry, Robert. That's great to know.
Okay. Yes.
Well, Mr. Chair, we still need to make an appointment,
Yes.
and looks like there's two positions that you were discussing earlier.
Well, I was discussing vice chair, and I talked to member Deering and she's agreed to, to act as the vice chair. So I'm going to appoint her as vice chairman of the board. Is there another position that we need to?
She held the
Oh, that's right,
secretary
secretary
position.
position. Does anyone who would like to be secretary? Yeah, someone who likes to read minutes, someone who likes to read, or someone who can read. We're not picky here. I just need a volunteer. Okay. Member Painter, thank you very much. Will be the new secretary. You are so diligent in reading everything anyway. Thank you very much.
So Chair Friedman, sorry, I keep not hitting the mic correctly. Can I just ask, are you going to be here for the May meeting?
Let's see, what day is it? What date is it?
First week of May. It's the first,
I
whatever the
don't-
first Tuesday.
Don't have any plans to be anywhere else.
Okay, because usually the vice chair then has to run the meeting and I'm going to be gone the first week.
I'll be gone in June, so be here in May. Okay, great. Any other communications from staff? Matters from the board? Anybody? Okay. Again, I wanted to, yeah, we do. Are we working on it or do we need?
Thank you. Yeah, we're working on it. We've got quite a few vacancies on our boards and commissions, and so we're trying to work on those and really package them and bring them forward to the governing body. So
I don't know why my law partner left. I haven't talked to her about it, but if anyone has someone who you think might be interested, please let Maggie know.
absolutely, yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
Fit. Okay, also, I just wanted to again welcome Claudia. Great job. Your first Board of Adjustment meeting. Woohoo. And we can talk about Laguna Beach and Laguna Niguel at some other point in time. So I've spent some nice times there. Okay, if we don't have anything else, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.